Someone's coming up the stairs. Mom, I clogged the toilet. That's what we're going to hear next. 2 rooms versus, like...
What's happening right now?
Dinah.
Quit sticking your butt up on the camera.
This is not that kind of show.
Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nici.
And welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine
and whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mom lives while trying to pull together information and resources to help everyone.
And eat on camera, so deal with it.
I'm chewing. Sorry.
It only took, an hour longer than I thought it was going to at the DMV today, and not because it was the DMV's fault, but because the lender I chose for my car loan is completely inept. So we're going to have lunch on air. Today's one, well, first off, I have to apologize. We owe you, our audience, an apology, and we're very sorry for all the drama and scandal it's caused. But there is one more Saturday in March, so we do get to talk about Mickey Mouse one more time.
We know you all are shocked and dismayed at the incorrect misinformation that we have given you.
That's right. And today we are drinking a Pinot Grigio Ecco Domani. It's Italian, inspired by a region in Italy, and has floral and tropical fruit aromas.
It's delicious.
So today we are talking about Disney cruises.
Ooh.
And Nikki's done a lot of research on that, so I'm going to let her take the wheel, and then I'll just ask a bunch of questions.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel?
Yes. All right, so first I have to preface this with I have never set foot on a Disney cruise. I want to. I'm planning to after our next trip to start saving up for our first cruise, but all of this is information I have gathered from Googling, from searching, and from watching lots of bloggers go on lots of cruises. There are different classes of Disney cruise ships, and there are like 2 to 3 ships under each class. So you have the Magic class, which has the Magic and the Wonder. That's the first one. The Magic was set to sea in 1998. I don't know if that's how you say that, set to sea, put to sea. It started sailing in 1998. It can hold 2,700 passengers. It ports out of Galveston, New Orleans, and Fort Lauderdale. Last I checked. Cruises to the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Mexico, and the Panama Canal. It stops at both of Disney's private islands. Its theme is kind of Art Deco and the classic cruise ship look. And the restaurant that they have on board, they have the Animator's Palette, which is where you can sit at a table and like draw animations that they'll put up on the screen and bring them to life for you and stuff.
That's fun.
It's pretty cool. And it's they also have Rapunzel's Royal Table, which has some entertainment during dinner. So they have like Rapunzel and Flynn Rider and stuff like that come out and sing songs and do things. They have a restaurant like that on every ship, and it's just different characters or different movie themed. And then they have the Soul Cat Lounge for adults.
Soul Cat. Do they have lots of restaurants?
So they always have the buffet that's like open most of the time. And then they have like the restaurant that you go to in the evening for dinner. And then they have like a themed restaurant. Now they have other like bars, lounges, whatever around the ship that have little things here and there. And they have like a candy shop that also usually has like ice cream and baked goods, that kind of stuff, and like coffee places. So there's different stuff all around depending on what you're wanting. But there's usually at least one place open where you can go and get food. They also have an ice cream place. We can just walk through and get a cone of ice cream up on the pool deck. So lots of options for eating. And it is one of the smaller ships with 11 decks, and it has the Aqua Dunk drop slide. So then the next ship is the Wonder, and it started sailing in 1999. It also carries 2,700 people. It ports from San Diego, Vancouver, Australia, and New Zealand. It cruises to Alaska, Hawaii, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, the Pacific Coast, and the South Pacific. It's themed as Ariel in the atrium, like the Little Mermaid, and it also has the Animator's Palette restaurant. It has a Tiana themed dinner entertainment thing. And then they have the Cadillac Bar and Lounge and the French Quarter Lounge. It's also an 11 deck ship, so one of the smaller ones in the fleet.
Are these the oldest two?
Mm-hmm. These are the oldest two, so they're the ones you've probably heard of over and over. The Magic, the Wonder, the Fantasy is another popular one in a different class. So that's the Magic class. Next tab.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that they came in different classes, like similar to the resorts having different tiers.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either until I started trying to write down, and I found it very confusing watching all these videos of people on different ships. I couldn't remember which one had which restaurants and which one had the aqueduct that you sit on the float versus the slide, and was considering all of that and deciding which one Ari would like best.
Yeah.
And it's also worth mentioning that every one of these cruise ships has a kids club, themed different ways, so you can kind of look up what the theme is and what all they offer.
Yeah,
but
throw your kid in there and go have a fun day.
Yeah, and they do all kinds of cool stuff in these kids clubs. Like they have arts and crafts projects, but they'll have characters come to visit. One time this vlogger I was watching, his kids went to the kids club for make a slime kit.
Oh boy.
And Stitch came to visit. It was Stitch's slime, so he came to visit and help them make the slime. And I was like, that's cool. So the Dream class, I didn't think about how this is like right on my way. There we go. The Dream class has the Disney Dream as a ship and the Fantasy. The Dream set sail in 2011, holds 4,000 people, ports out of Fort Lauderdale and Europe, cruises to the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and Europe, stops at both of Disney's private islands. And they have some theme nights that they do on this ship. There's the Pirate Night, which is always cool. And they last I saw, they put little pirate bandanas on your bed that day. So if you didn't bring things to dress up,
That's
people
fun.
like go all out. They dress like pirates full on that night. So if you forgot or needed anything, they give you like little bandanas you can wear.
That's
around.
so awesome.
Yeah. The ship has a classic, elegant feel, Art Deco again, huge atriums. Their special restaurant, they have Remy's, which is like a very fancy restaurant. It's lots of extra money you have to pay to eat there. It's French dining. They also have Paolo, which is another extra. And these are like not included in your cruise. You have to pay extra to dine there, and it is fancy. It's fancy. There's dress codes and all kinds of things. So
Nice.
Now, I have not witnessed anyone take children. I don't know if children aren't allowed, period, or what, but I've never watched anyone take kids to that kind of place. So, which I don't blame them, but I don't know if there's an official rule on that or something. There's 14 decks on this ship. A lot of the people I watch like it better because they feel like the ports are better. They have the aqueduct, the rainforest room spa. They do have an adult-only area with a hot tub that overlooks the back of the ship. So lots of cool stuff. They do the Marvel Day at Sea. They have a teen club as well for ages 14 to 17 with their own pool. So if your teenager is like, I don't want to swim with the little kids, then they get their own pool. The Fantasy set sail in 2012, also 4,000 passengers. As you can see, in each class, it's like the ship is the same size. The last one had 11 decks and 2,700. This has 4,000 passengers and 14 decks. And this one sails out of Port Canaveral, goes to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, visits both islands, and has Pirate Night, Pixar Day at Sea. And they have an adult area that's themed like a carousel. So it looks kind of like a carousel.
Does it have an actual carousel in it?
No.
Could you imagine trying to ride a carousel while also on a boat?
I was slightly disappointed because, they have carousel bars where the bar spins slowly.
Oh.
And I thought that would be really cool. And I thought maybe that would make people really sick.
Yeah, I feel like yes,
I mean, it's very slow.
On a cruise ship, you're not necessarily going to feel the ship the same way you do on a different kind of ship.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the whole, the engines being below you and it messing with your equilibrium and all of that. So I could see a physically rotating anything causing more problems than it would be fun.
Yes. Yeah. That could be dangerous. Probably smart of Disney to not do what I think is cool.
But it would be hilarious.
As far as dining, they also have Remy, the French dining, and Palo.
Remy.
And these are, of course, restaurants that cost extra but also require a reservation. But I have seen many a time where they did not book it ahead. And when they got on the ship, the first thing they did was go over to guest services and get their name on a list. And they usually wind up getting in. So, and that's for the kids dining too, like the royal table and the, those kinds of shows. So if you wind up booking a cruise and missing out on a reservation that way, go there first thing when you get on the ship and see if you can get on a list for a time. They also have the 14 decks. It's one of the favorite ships for the adult only areas, I think, because of the carousel bar. There's a couple other things back in that area for adults only, so it's kind of fun if you're a Disney adult going without kids, or your kid likes the kids club and you get to wander around a lot. They also do the Pixar Day at Sea. I think I already said that, though. The aqueduct, the hot tub in the rainforest room, those kinds of things. So the rainforest room is pretty cool. They have, from what I've seen, 3 different showers that have different styles of rainfall, and you can get massages there and facials and stuff like that. So, but that's another thing you have to book ahead and you have to pay extra. Something to note about all of these ships is they do a really cool sail away party. Basically, you board the ship, you can eat right away, your luggage gets brought to your room for you, that kind of stuff. They have the muster drill you have to participate in, so you know where to go if there's an emergency of some kind. And then you're basically home free. And they have a sail away party, which is really fun. Mickey and Minnie come out. They do lots of dancing and, Disney castle welcome style shows out on the pool deck. On Pirates Night, they do fireworks. So you want to make sure you're in a good spot to see those shoot off. And sometimes the aqueduct can get in the way of viewing that, so be aware of that when you pick your spot. But another thing to know is that all of these ships have the pool deck, and there's an adult-only pool, there's a kids' pool, some of them have a splash pad for the little kids, some of them don't, so look into that before you go if you have really little kids that you're taking. But an important thing to know that I think a lot of people miss when you have young children that maybe aren't potty trained yet, you cannot wear swim diapers in even the children's pool on the cruise ships. They will not allow them. I don't know if it's something about the way that the material can mess up the pool, but because of this, I have also heard on lots of chat groups that the pools close frequently to clean poop and things. So be aware of that. Okay, so on top of not being able to wear swim diapers, I hear that they make you get out of the water once an hour for them to do a check and make sure, nobody's
That's
sunk
funny.
to the bottom or something, and make sure there's
I thought it was a
accidents
poop
and make
check.
Yeah. I think it's both. So some people were annoyed by that, especially on a day where it's colder and windier and you don't want to get out of the water.
Yeah, and once an hour is a lot.
It is a lot. And this is all just word of mouth. I'm hearing this. So if you get there and that's not the case, maybe it was just a weird situation. But
if you would all like to donate to the cause, we could go on a cruise and tell you if it's true.
I got Ari's passport this year so that we could go on a cruise.
I do need to do that.
Or last year, I guess. End of last year. You don't have to have them for the kids. I think there's other ways like bringing birth certificates and stuff like that, but it gets... Okay, so the next class is the Wish class. It has the 2 newest ships, the Wish and the Treasure. The Wish set sail in 2022, the Treasure in 2024.
Okay.
These are the 2 I want to go on.
I find it interesting, unless they'd already maxed it out, that class number 1 is clearly a smaller ship, but these 2 classes are the same size in terms of passengers.
Mm-hmm. So these are the 2 I've gotten the least amount of research on just because I've gotten to them the latest. But they're the two newest. You'll see lots of YouTube videos out there about them. So if you're curious, it's a great way to see what's on the ship, what entertainment is like. And something I haven't mentioned before, a lot of these ships have movie theaters and they'll play recently released Disney movies or the
That's
classics. Awesome. So I just watched someone get on the Wish 2 days ago and they were playing the new Snow White movie like the day that it released in the theaters. So that's pretty cool.
I know it's not quite the same, but I love that they also do that in the hotel lobbies at the resorts while you're checking in.
So the Wish sails out of Port Canaveral. It holds 4,000 passengers. It cruises to the Bahamas and visits both islands, and Nassau is another stop it will make. So the theme is Cinderella. It has a really cool chandelier in the atrium, and they do kind of like a kiss goodnight like they do at the castle. So you can like lay on the ground. I saw a video of that.
It looks cool.
Yeah, you'll see like lots of people at like I think it's 10 o'clock at night or something go out there and lay on the ground and just look up and watch the show. They have the restaurant that's themed for the kids with the entertainment is themed to Frozen, and Olaf is there.
Nice.
And I've heard from vloggers that it's the best food hands down of all the ships.
Of course, Olaf is going on a tropical cruise.
Of course he is. They have the Aquamouse. They have a Star Wars hyperspace lounge. So pretty cool. And of course, updated, fresh, clean, all the perks.
Did I miss you talking about this already? What's the Aquamouse?
Oh, so the Aqueduct and the Aquamouse are this cool ride that you'll see on some of the ships. It's like a tube, water slide kind of tube, with running water through it, and you sit on a little raft, and most of them are 2 people at a time. And as it loads you up, there's like Mickey Mouse cartoons on the wall, and they like have a little storyline, and it's basically like a slide that goes kind of along the edge of the ship. And then you've got the Treasure, which is the newest one. It's set sail in 2024, also holds 4,000 passengers, sails out of Port Canaveral. And I haven't filled out all the information on this one, so I don't know exactly where all it goes to. I know it goes to both islands. It's themed to Aladdin.
My favorite.
Yeah. And the restaurant dinner with the entertainment is Coco. So, if there's a particular restaurant you want to go to themed to a certain character, make sure you're on the right ship for that. If you're wanting to go to Remy or Paolo, make sure you're on the right ship for that. Mm-hmm. You got to weigh all those into your considerations for which ship you want to sail on, and of course where you want to sail to, because certain ships only come out of certain ports and only go certain places. So you got to kind of whittle it down based on that. But they have on the Treasure some really cool bars and lounges. I haven't put it on my research yet, but they have the new Haunted Mansion Lounge. It's really cool. It's really cool. One of the ships has a Marvel themed restaurant or lounge. I don't remember if that's the Wish or the Treasure. I haven't gotten that far in my research yet, but very cool. I've been considering the Wish for Ari and I's first cruise just because I've seen the most videos about it, so I'm the most familiar with it.
Yeah, that's the one I feel like I know the most about, too.
Yeah, and it's got the Frozen restaurant, which I know she'll like more than Coco. At this stage, anyway. One of the kids, I think the kids area on both the Wish and the Treasure have a slide to get into it, so the first time you have to go down and get their special band and do the security check-in and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But after that, you can check them in at this little stand, and they can get on a slide and slide down into
That's
the
part I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you mean I can
So
put my
cool.
child in a mysterious hole and not see them for hours? Okay.
Sign me up.
Right.
And for anyone who's curious, they always do an open house on the first day. So you can take your kids and walk around and see what the kids club is like.
Yeah.
Beyond that, adults are not allowed in the kids area.
This is like Pinocchio Pleasure Island stuff. Like they might be a donkey the next time you see them. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows what happens in there? So standard on all the ships, they all look the same on the outside. It's like the navy blue at the bottom, the little golden strip, the white at the top, the red stacks with the Mickey Mouse head on them. They all have rotational dining. So there's 3 main dining restaurants that they rotate every passenger through for dinner at night. So that's how you get through the Artist Palace, the regular dining, and the themed dining. It's unique to each cruise line. But the cool thing about the Disney ships is your server and assistant server follow you restaurant to restaurant. So whoever you meet as your server on the first night, they will be your server the whole time. So you get to know their name. They get to know your preferences. Sometimes, like,
That's
maybe
cool.
you order coffee at the end of the meal every night. They'll just start bringing it automatically without you asking. You get to know people that way, and sometimes you see them on another ship later on in your cruising life, you know?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. World-class entertainment. You know, they all have some sort of Broadway type show that you can go to. Character meet and greets, they do that, and it's the timing is all in the app on your phone, so you can learn when they're going to be in the atrium, which characters it's going to be. You
That's
can line up
awesome.
and get pictures. They sell picture packages so you can get all your photos. It's a great way to get a photo with everybody in it instead of one person missing it and taking the photo. And the lines, while they look long because there's a lot of people on the ship and not a lot of line space, they move quickly. I've never seen somebody stand in a long line like they do at Disney World. You know, they get through it fast. So cool character meet and greets. They all have kids clubs and adult only areas, and they don't have casinos on their ships. They use this space on their ships to beef up the kids area instead. So it's a lot more kid friendly than other cruise lines. So in my basic research, what I've come to is first you want to see what port you want to cruise out of, because where you're traveling to cruise from is important. Then you want to look at the itinerary. Where does it go? Does it stop at the island I want to go to? Does it stop at the country I want to stop in?
I feel like we need to talk more about the fact that Disney has a couple private islands, because I had no idea.
There's Castaway Key, which is the original one, and then there's Lookout something at Castaway Key. Or
Do other cruise
Lighthouse
lines do that?
Yeah, some of them do.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure Royal has their own, and it's also called Castaway Cay or Castaway Key.
That's funny.
What was weird is they're both spelled the same, but one says Castaway Cay and the other one says it's Castaway Key.
How can we almost rip this off but not get sued?
Right. And you want to look at the special theme days too. If Marvel Day at Sea is important to you, or Pirate Night, or Pixar Night, or Halloween on the High Seas, they do a Christmas theme sometimes. So,
dude, Halloween on the High Seas sounds kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. They put this big spooky tree in the atrium with like pumpkins hanging off of it. It's cool. And I thought about doing it, but it is kind of during hurricane season, and that made me nervous because I don't know if Ari and I are seasick people or not. So I would like to test that at a calmer time.
It is really interesting because I've been on many types of boats. Never a cruise, but many types of boats. And I never had a problem. And so I'm like, oh, seasickness is clearly not an issue for me. And then we went on the Branson Belle, which is like a...
That gave you seasickness?
Yes. It's huge.
It's a riverboat.
It's a riverboat. It's got a dinner theater on it. And we were sitting down, and it wasn't like immediate or anything.
Yeah.
And I think it was the whole, your body knows it's moving, but your mind doesn't thing. Because we'd been sitting at the table for a good bit, and it was just like, all of a sudden I was just like, oh, I feel kind of not great. And Brandon's like, well, is it seasickness? I'm like, I don't think I get seasickness. But like the longer it went on, the more I was like, yeah, maybe. And we went outside and it was a lot better. But I was just surprised that was the kind of boat it hit me on, which makes me think that I might have an issue on cruise ships.
You might, but there's lots of good remedies and medicines out there for that.
I
plan to bring all of, just in case. And they also have a medical bay that you can go down and visit. Basically, kind of looking at the theme nights, the restaurants, the main shows. You know, what is it you're looking to go to? And you know, I think for the Disney adults who are going without children, it's important to look at the adult only areas. What all is included? What are the lounges that are available? Since you'll probably spend more time in the adult only areas. But yeah, and even the rainforest rooms and spas, they're like bigger on the Wish than on other ships, that kind of thing. So just checking into each one and seeing which check boxes are most important to you and which ship has the most of them.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I picked the Wish, because it comes out of Port Canaveral, which is where I want to sail from. It stops at both the private islands, which is where I want to go. I'm not really interested yet in like getting off the ship in some other country and exploring. I'm not that brave yet.
You don't want to get like lost in the woods in a foreign country.
I don't want to get lost in a foreign country. So tips that I've gathered about tips and just kind of the weather. January to April is dry season. It's the best weather, especially in April because it's a little bit warmer. So if you want to do like swimming and things like that, it's a great time to go as a first-time cruiser, so that you can kind of get a feel for if seasickness is going to be a thing for you and all those kinds of things. September to October is the worst cruising time weather-wise because hurricane season is September through November. So you can expect rougher seas, that kind of stuff.
But maybe a discount.
Who knows? Probably not on Disney.
No.
But, you know.
Oh, that would be funny if like the most people booked them though because they lowered the prices and then they get out there and like, oh, this is why.
And another thing to consider is the weather where you're traveling to, where your ship is going to port. So the Caribbean weather is kind of what I'm looking at. May is a brief rainy season. So, you know, if you're looking to stop at their islands and swim on the beach and go snorkeling and that kind of stuff, you might want to make sure it's not rainy season. Or maybe you don't care because you can still swim, like as long as there's not lightning or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. December is popular because of families on winter break from school, so the ships will be more crowded. March as well, because of spring break.
Do what we do. Take the kids out in the middle of the school year and hope that the truancy office just doesn't turn you in.
June through August are popular times with families on spring breaks as well. June is the best time to cruise the Caribbean because there's a lower risk of rain when you port. The weather's just better in June. July and August, the rain chance increases again. So the weather's a major factor because rainfall is quite often heavy in the Caribbean during certain times of the year. So it's not just your regular little spitter spatter rainstorm. It's like whoosh.
It's like
monsoon.
Florida at 2 p.m.
Right.
Every day.
And a lot of times I've seen trips to the island get canceled even for weather. Maybe they can't port. I have seen one time where when the cruise was longer, they were able to try to port on a different day and just switch up their days. But that can kind of mess with if you've booked excursions and things like that. So Bahamas weather, fall, the autumn months can be the ideal time to cruise, especially if you're not bothered by the increased hurricane risk. Ships do sail in hurricane season and they're perfectly safe. It's just the sea is rougher. So if moving around a little more is going to bother you, you might want to consider that. January is great, but cold. It's like in the 60s, so you won't be like getting in the ocean all the time and that kind of stuff.
I cheated and read ahead while you were reading, and the next point is my favorite, I think, because I didn't expect it. It's very nice.
Disney Cruise Line guests 21 years and older may bring a maximum of 2 bottles of unopened wine or champagne no larger than 750 milliliters or 6 beers no larger than 12 ounces on board at the beginning of the voyage and each time you port. So when you port, you can get off the ship, buy more, and bring it back.
And bring it back. And guess what? That's going to be a big money saver. And I'm going to say, as much as I enjoy the occasional beer, I think the wine champagne deal is more for your money.
Yes. Any wine or beer that you bring has to go in your carry-on luggage. It can't be in your checked luggage, so that's important to know. Most non-alcoholic beverages are included in your cruise fee. While there are no all-inclusive Disney cruise drink options like on other ships, you can get significant savings by choosing the beer mug with a discount or the wine package. And you'll want to look up what that is on your ship prior to your cruise because I believe it's even changed since I did this research on what all is included. But they do have some packages. It's just not like on Virgin or Royal where you can hop on and pay hundreds of dollars for a drink package and then not pay for any drinks for your whole cruise. It's not like that. But they do have specials so that you can save if you know you're going to want a bottle of wine at dinner, those kinds of things. Another thing to know about wine is if you can bring your bottle of wine that you brought on the ship with you to dining, but they will charge you a cork fee of $27. So, you know, feel free to bring it to dinner with you, but know that they are going to charge you a fee for doing that, basically. They'll take it back and uncork it and bring it out to your table or whatever.
Suddenly, a wild dog appears. We have Dinah now.
This is my new baby. A lot of you guys heard the sad story of
so shaky.
my long-term buddy passing.
Are you nervous? It's not live.
We got the opportunity to get this new baby, and here she is. Okay, so there's also different room types. You want to do your research on that before you go. A lot of people find it helpful when they have seasickness to have the veranda where you can open the balcony and go stand outside in the privacy of your own room. A lot of people like to drink their coffee out there in the morning because it can be really peaceful and nice. So there's different rooms. There's inside the ship. where they have the staterooms. They are better if you want like convenient access to the restaurants, but there's no exterior view. So you basically go in this room with no windows. You know, if that doesn't bother you, cool. And they're cheaper because there's no windows and no balcony. So that's something to consider too.
But bring your Dramamine.
That's right. There's also ocean view where you can catch breathtaking views from the porthole window of roomy and well-appointed quarters. Sometimes the porthole on these ships is big enough too that it's like a little windowsill and you can like sit in it. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
like a little bay window.
Mm-hmm. Then you have the veranda rooms. They're the most spacious, non-concierge staterooms, each with a private veranda. And don't freak out; they're completely safe. You can lock the door from the top so your kids can't just wander out in the middle of the night. Okay. And the railings, while they look spaced out, they have glass in between them. I don't know if it's plexiglass or what it is, but it's like clear so you can still see the ocean, but kids can't dangle their feet off the ledge of the ship or whatever. So totally safe. You can lock the door and keep anyone from going out if you want. Those are the different types of like regular rooms. And then of course you have concierge where you pay a ton of extra money. It's the most luxurious accommodations. They have the most spacious rooms. They get, they get the best ocean views because they're paying an extra penny. And they have their own special lounge you can go to where there's, you know, food and drinks available and that kind of thing.
So is there a benefit or advantage to any of these if you are a larger party, like a family of 6?
They do have rooms that can connect or that are like right next to each other. So I know a lot of families wind up doing that. They do have rooms that have like pull down bunk bed type things. I guess it depends how big the party is, if you all want to squish into one room or if you want to get 2 rooms. I don't know that concierge has any larger bed number accommodations.
That's all we've learned so far about Disney cruises. And it really is, this time I swear, the final Mickey Mouse March. But we'll be coming at you in April with some really fun content. Mm-hmm. You can find us on all the usuals, workingmomswine.com, patreon.com/workingmomswine. Every social media is Working Moms Wine. If you have any suggestions on topics you would like us to cover, or if you've been on a cruise yourself and have any tips or stories to share, we'd love to see that in the comments. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.